Hi everybody, Tyson here. And this is Common Foods at Home. Third episode this week of After Shift Drinks. So I get this question a lot, and this is why I've actually reserved this question for this episode instead of the regular After Shift Drinks. Alright? What have you learned from working in a kitchen? Alright. I'm just going to talk about myself a little bit here. I've learned teamwork. Let's go with the broad spectrum here. I've learned a lot about teamwork. I've learned a lot about communication. I've learned a lot about working with other people. Obviously, I learned how to cook through cooking, working in kitchens. But the biggest thing, I've learned to deal with pressure and stress a little bit more in life. Let me just take you through the history of where I used to work and who I worked for. My first kitchen job was actually at a small Chinese restaurant when I was 14 years old. There I did food prep. I worked for a small mom and pop Chinese restaurant through my high school years. And I picked up basic knife skills, basic cleaning, and what I really learned from there was the fact that this industry is a hard and unrewarding industry. As far as financially, it's rewarding to the soul, it's rewarding to my mind, it's rewarding on so many different aspects. And that's what I got out of that one, and that's why it kind of created a passion for me. Move on a couple of years, I worked a few other small Asian restaurants throughout college. And then after college, actually at the end of college, I worked at a notable Japanese restaurant. It's no longer there. The chefs I had, Chef Keith, Chef Daisuke, Chef Ken, I learned a lot from them. I learned from them Japanese cuisine, the philosophies, because each cuisine that you go into, the culture is ingrained into the food. You'll be surprised how much it is. Their attitude towards the food really takes on a persona from them, from the people that created the food. And I learned the philosophies of Japanese cuisine through the people, and there I learned my organization. I learned humility, humbleness, because to be honest, those were my favorite chefs, because they didn't yell at you, they didn't do anything like that. They taught you, but in a certain style where it is very humbling. It got ingrained into me that if I refused to work, my boss would be accepting of it and then do it himself. And that created almost a guilt, almost a failure and disappointment in myself, to be like, oh, he's doing my job even though he's the boss. And that got really ingrained to me, the fact that he didn't yell at me. All he did was literally take away my job, and that stung me more than anything else. But at the same time, they also showed me how to reward, especially young chefs, in kitchens, and that's through knowledge. It's really hard to learn how to cut fish in a Japanese manner, cook in a Japanese manner. It's extremely foreign and different from other cuisines. So to have that apprenticeship, unspoken mentorship from one of these chefs was amazing. After that, I went to my local casino at a fine dining restaurant. And there I had many chefs, because I stayed there for a good course of 10 years. One chef, I've been through good chefs and bad chefs there. I'm just going to talk about the good chefs. Chef Matt, roughly my age, roughly my temperament, had a beautiful philosophy where he was one of the first chefs that would actually put his cooks before himself. So he showed me leadership skills on that role, and it was amazing. Working underneath him was gratifying and beautiful, and his philosophy when it came to cooking was salt of the earth. Why? If he was going to serve you pork, he wanted to make sure that you tasted that pork. If he was going to serve you asparagus, he wanted to make sure that that ingredient went forward, and that's a big thing in his philosophy, and that's something that I've adopted in his cooking philosophy. He grew up in the rural areas, and this is how he cooked, and this is what he liked, and I loved it. He loved that, and it showed through his work. Also there, Chef Felix, great guy, beautiful. He showed me standards, beautiful standards, and he held me to them. And he was rough. He was a European chef. He was Austrian. He was great. His skills were uncanny. His philosophy was very astute, creative, beautiful, amazing. He wanted to make sure that whatever came out, the standard was always the same. If anything, from him, I learned consistency, which is the greatest thing, one of the greatest things and skills you need in a kitchen. Consistency. You want a return customer that when they eat that meal again, they eat that meal again. And it's not different. It's not hindering their memory. They're trying to relive it. And he was just great. He was one of those guys that would break you down, but then build you up. And when he built you up, and you realize that within a couple months, you were here, and then you moved over here in skill level, and you can reflect upon that, that's one of the greatest gifts a boss could ever give you in a kitchen. Sorry, got a little teary on that one. And then the last place I worked at was an arena, local arena, under Chef Ken and Chef David. These guys were great. I came in there as a supervisor. I left there as a sous chef. And it sounds like, a sous chef is a low-level thing, but in all reality, how that structure was organized, a sous chef was basically on the same level of a restaurant chef. They taught me a lot. They taught me the corporate side of things. They taught me the administrative side of things. They taught me the organizational side of things, but they also taught me how to support others and how to support myself, because they were busy doing stuff, but they would always make me understand that, hey, we're gonna lead you there, but we're not going to take your hand and take you there. And that was a really big lesson for me to learn, especially in a place where you literally had 3 hours to serve a certain amount of people. In my field, in my area, which was sweets, it was, I think we sat a grand total of 2,500 people. So within 15 minutes, I had to shoot out all the food for all those people in a manner. And they helped me out and encouraged my strengths of organization and the past skills that I had from the other chefs, and just turned it and actually gave me the chance to become a leader. And I did that. And I'm super thankful for that opportunity. So, to all my chefs, here's to you. I wish this was a real drink, but water's life, and you guys, quite frankly, made my life. So, thank you. This has been Common Foods at Home, so please like, comment, and subscribe. Later.